Jesus never invited anyone to a comfortable life. He never said, "Follow me and everything will be easy." He never promised convenience, applause, or safety. Instead, he said something far more unsettling: "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me." Luke 9:23, daily. Not once. Not occasionally. Not when it fits your schedule or mood. Daily. And this is where many Christians quietly step back. The cross we prefer to ignore. The cross was not a metaphor for inconvenience. It wasn't symbolic of a bad day or mild discomfort. The cross was an instrument of death. When Jesus spoke these words, his listeners understood exactly what he meant. To take up your cross meant to surrender your life completely, your will, your reputation, your comfort, your future. It meant dying to self. And that is the daily decision most Christians avoid. Why this teaching makes us uncomfortable. We love the parts of faith that promise peace, blessing, and hope. But we struggle with the parts that demand sacrifice. We like Jesus as Savior. We hesitate when he becomes Lord. Because lordship costs something. It costs pride. It costs control. It costs the version of ourselves we've carefully built and protected. What deny yourself really means. Denying yourself doesn't mean hating yourself. It means refusing to let your desires rule you. It means choosing obedience over impulse. Truth over comfort. God's will over your own plans. Every day, you face crossroads. Will I forgive or hold on to resentment? Will I obey or delay? Will I follow truth or choose what's easier? Each choice reveals whether you're carrying your cross, or avoiding it. The daily nature of the cross. Jesus didn't say, "Take up your cross once," he said daily. Because dying to self is not a one-time event. It's waking up every morning and choosing humility instead of ego, faith instead of fear, obedience instead of convenience. Some days, the cross feels heavier than others. Some days, obedience costs you relationships. Some days, it costs you opportunities. Some days, it costs you comfort or approval. But every day, it forms Christ within you. The illusion of a cross-free faith. Modern Christianity often offers a version of faith without the cross. A faith that blesses but never breaks. That comforts but never confronts. That saves but never transforms. But Jesus never separated salvation from surrender. You cannot follow him without letting something die. And what dies is always the false self, the one built on pride, fear, and self-rule. The paradox. Jesus promised. Jesus followed his command with a paradox. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will save it. Luke 9:24, trying to protect your life, your comfort, control, image, leads to loss. Surrendering it leads to real life. The cross looks like loss. Until resurrection power flows through it. Real life application. What the cross looks like today. Taking up your cross today may look like speaking truth when silence would be safer, walking away from sin you've justified for years, obeying God even when it costs you socially. Choosing faithfulness when no one is watching. The cross is rarely dramatic. Most of the time, it's quiet obedience in unseen moments. But heaven records every choice. Why many turn back. Jesus once watched large crowds follow him, until he explained the cost. Then many turned away. Because admiration is easy. Surrender is not. Some follow Jesus for miracles. Some for blessing. Some for hope. But few stay when obedience becomes costly. And yet, those few are the ones who truly experience transformation. The invitation still stands. Jesus doesn't lower the standard. He still says, "Follow me." Not halfway. Not when convenient. But fully. The cross is not punishment. It's preparation. It prepares you for resurrection life. For spiritual authority. For eternal reward. Climactic challenge to the viewer. Ask yourself honestly, what part of my life have I refused to surrender? Where have I chosen comfort over obedience? What cross am I avoiding right now? This message isn't meant to condemn you. It's meant to awaken you. Because the life you want is on the other side of the cross you're avoiding. Interactive engagement moment. Take a moment. Reflect. Pray. Then share in the comments, what does taking up your cross daily look like in your life right now? Your honesty may strengthen someone else who's struggling silently. A sobering truth: there is no crown without a cross. No resurrection without death. No transformation without surrender. But for those who endure, the reward is beyond imagination. The cross is daily, but the reward is eternal. The next teaching reveals the narrow path few choose, and why comfortable faith is dangerous. Watch the next video to continue the journey, the narrow path few choose, why comfortable faith is dangerous. If this teaching challenged you, let it do its work quietly. These are not words meant to be rushed past or argued away. They are meant to be sat with, prayed through, and lived out slowly. Take time to return to the words of Jesus for yourself. Ask what obedience looks like in your own life, not in theory, but in practice. And if you believe these teachings are needed in a faith that has grown too comfortable, consider sharing this message with someone who is seeking truth with humility. Jesus never invited us to comfort. He invited us to follow. His words were not designed to impress crowds, but to transform hearts. In a world that encourages easy faith and convenient belief, may we be people who choose the narrow path. Not because it is popular, but because it is faithful. Thank you for spending this time reflecting on the words of Christ. Until next time, remain humble, remain teachable, and walk faithfully in the way He has shown us.